Good Wednesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And boy, as advertised, I talked about it last night when we were together for the evening news. Howling wind, and boy, did we see that out there today. We woke up with a little bit of wind, and that's never a good sign, and it just kept gaining strength throughout the day. We had a steady wind, 15 to 25 miles an hour this afternoon, and even gusts around 40 miles an hour. We're going to continue to see that, but a beautiful shot. You wouldn't know it looking outside our Sky-Fi tower camera up on Wenatchee Heights. A few clouds out there. Really no rain showers to talk about, just some clouds hanging around. But what we are seeing with the rain showers, some heavy downpours last night, and also warm temperatures, and that's rising rivers. We are keeping an eye on some of the rivers in our area, including the Okanagan River and Stehekin Rivers. They are both about bank full right now, and with some warmer weather and more rain in the forecast, we are definitely keeping our eye on those rivers. More on your weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. A Kashmir man in prison for recruiting a fellow inmate to burglarize his estranged wife's home cannot withdraw his guilty plea. An East Wenatchee veterinarian is accused of prescribing unneeded medications to her own animals. And it turns out there won't be a race in November for a seat on the Douglas County PUD Commission after it was found that one of the candidates who filed last week lives outside the boundaries for the District 2 seat. But first, we begin tonight. The body of a homeless man was found inside a vehicle in South Wenatchee yesterday morning, but police say his death is not suspicious. Wenatchee Police Captain Edgar Reinfeld said the unidentified 55-year-old man was known to police. His body was found by the owner of the property at South Mission Street and South Wenatchee Avenue near the George Seller Bridge. The body of another homeless man was found earlier this month in the Columbia River near Ninth Street, but Reinfeld said they don't believe the two deaths were connected in any way, and neither death was suspicious.
We respond to these calls every year, and they're not in the middle of winter all that often. That happens occasionally. That's the obvious thing. People would think about, boy, the middle of winter is going to be really hard for people living outside, living rough. But it happens all throughout the year. These two are close together in time, but there's nothing to indicate, again, anything suspicious or any foul play or either of them. If there was, then we would have to be looking at it a lot differently. But we're awaiting at this point information from the coroner to determine what happened here, and we'll go from there.
A Kashmir man in prison for recruiting a fellow inmate to burglarize his estranged wife's home cannot withdraw his guilty plea. That's the ruling this week from the State Court of Appeals, which says Don Phillips Stentz has no basis to overturn his 2019 agreement. While jailed in Chelan County in 2018, Stentz instructed a fellow inmate to burglarize his wife's home as part of a continued pattern of harassment. The burglar was arrested with Stentz's detailed notes and a map to the house. Stentz is now serving 7 years in prison for masterminding that burglary and for violating a no-contact order. An East Wenatchee veterinarian is accused of prescribing unneeded medications to her own animals. The State Department of Health says Chanel Ryman, who started veterinarian practices in the Wenatchee Valley in 2016, ordered thousands of doses of pain reliever and anxiety medications for her own dogs without medical justification. The health department says Raymond prescribed more than 11,000 tablets of the painkiller Tramadol between 2011 and 2018, plus 1,000 doses of Alazepam for anxiety. She allegedly claimed the dog suffered a variety of medical conditions that weren't supported by documentation. Ryman closed her mobile veterinary practice last summer. Her license is now under review. Well, it turns out there won't be a race now in November for a seat on the Douglas County PUD Commission after it was found that one of the candidates who filed last week lives outside the boundaries for the District 2 seat. Rock Island Mayor Randy Agnew had filed to challenge incumbent Commissioner Molly Simpson, but Rock Island falls within PUD District 3. Douglas County Auditor Thad Duvall, who said he was notified Agnew, said confusion may have come from county commissioner districts. Rock Island is in District 2 for that commission. Well, coming up next, the Chelan Douglas Board of Health withdrew a 2-month-old order yesterday that expanded its health officers' power to penalize businesses that don't comply with public health rules related to COVID-19. The owner of a venerable Wenatchee restaurant says he'll reopen for dinner May 27th. Coronavirus be damned. The Okanagan County Sheriff's Office 911 Dispatch Center is now capable of accepting text messages to 911 to report an emergency. And for your morning commute, Columbia Street in Wenatchee will be closed from 5 a.m. to noon tomorrow. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Buick and GMC are here to help, to keep you going through these unprecedented times. If you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home with Shop, Click, Drive. If you need service, our certified technicians are ready to help. You can even schedule your appointment online. Together, we'll get through these uncertain times. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Welcome back. In another news, the Chelan Douglas Board of Health withdrew a 2-month-old order that was yesterday that expanded its health officers' power to penalize businesses that don't comply with public health rules related to COVID-19. Former health officer Dr. Francis Collins issued the order March 20th, but the 8-member Public Health Board says existing laws already allows for enforcement if a health inspector finds businesses aren't following social distancing rules or are operating while they're not deemed an essential service. Violators who do not cooperate with public health orders can still be fined $500 to $5,000 a day. Well, in other news, the owner of a venerable Wenatchee restaurant says he'll reopen for dinner May 27th. Coronavirus be damned. Kevin Smith, owner of the Windmill for the last 8 years, tells NCWLIFE he'll be serving next Wednesday despite state orders closing restaurants as non-essential businesses. His reopening comes just 4 days before those health orders are set to expire unless renewed. Smith says his bills are still piling up despite no income, and he'll have just 8 tables at a time spread out for social distancing. The Chelan Douglas Health District did not respond to a request for comment on the Windmill's reopening plan. Well, call if you can, text if you can't. The Okanagan County Sheriff's 911 Dispatch Center is now capable of accepting text messages to 911 to report an emergency, but officials say a voice call to 911 is still the best way to report an emergency. Texting an emergency should primarily be used by people who are hearing or speech impaired, people who can't speak because of a medical emergency, or for people who have limited or poor cell service. The Sheriff's Office says text to 911 should not be used to report non-emergency situations or for convenience. Well, a heads up for your morning commute tomorrow. Columbia Street from 1st Street to 2nd Street in Wenatchee will be closed from 5 a.m. to noon. Chelan County Public Works says the sidewalk in that area will also be closed. Also a reminder that work is continuing on Stella Avenue. That's between McKittrick and Walnut Streets in Wenatchee, with 1 lane of traffic open with flaggers in the work zone. That project will continue through Friday between 7 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Don't worry, all the fun is around the corner. There's no better time to get ready than now with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa Spring Sale. Stock Up and Save sale is now going on in-store and online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Even pool heaters are on sale. Financing available upon approval. Credit 24-month, no interest with equal payments. Stop by today or order online at bluelagoonpoolandspa.com. Free water testing available in-store or curbside. Don't wait. The sale is going on now through June 1st.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Mary Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Mary Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Mary Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today, 509-663-1710.
With PUD rebates, we'll give you money to upgrade your house and reduce your energy footprint.
The rebates are real. Visit conservationmakessense.org to learn more.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. In tonight's feature story, the state showed off its latest tool in fighting wildfires on Tuesday. In a demonstration at the Olympia Airport, a helicopter dipped its bucket into a pumpkin tank. The tanks are portable, easy refilled with water from natural sources, and hold 4,400 gallons of water. They're expected to be especially valuable in remote, hard-to-reach areas. Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. We'll get to all of those details in a second, but as always, let's take a peek outside our weather window from this afternoon, and plenty of blue sky out there. We did see plenty of mid and high level clouds as well, and I'll tell you what, plenty of wind out there as well. You can see our camera shaking a little bit as we look down at the Wenatchee Valley from Wenatchee Heights and our Sky-Fi Tower camera up there near the cross on Wenatchee Heights, and it was a windy one with gusts today around 40 to 45 miles an hour around much of north central Washington. As you traveled a little bit east into the Columbia Basin and into Spokane, not quite as windy, but much wetter on that side of the state. High temperatures today really weren't that bad. Temperatures about 74 today unofficially around the area. 72 is our normal high temperature for this time of year. 56 is where we started, so it was a nice mild start, wasn't it, this morning with that wind. 50 degrees is our normal low. Record high, 89 degrees. That was set back in 1963, and our record low, 35 degrees, and that was set in 1971. We did pick up 14/100ths of an inch of rain, and boy, if you looked out your window between about 5 and 6 o'clock last night, you saw those dark clouds. You may have heard that really loud clap of thunder about 5 o'clock as well, and some lightning out there, and that now gets our precip to date up to 2.38 inches, and for the first time in a while, our our precipitation is now less than an inch behind where we should be for this time of year. Sunrise 5:18, and the sun will set tonight at 8:38. Let's take a peek at how your Thursday is going to shape up. One thing about it, it's going to be a windy day once again tomorrow. The good news is not quite as windy today, but we're still going to see plenty of breezy conditions and much cooler temperatures. 67 for Moses Lake, 66 in Ephrata and in Quincy, 65 for Wenatchee, and we'll pretty much stay in the mid-60s from Entiat all the way up into Omak with winds, about 10 to 20 miles an hour. Take a look at your surface loop now, and tonight we can expect partly cloudy skies, windy conditions. Remember, the pinks and red are where we're seeing all the wind, and that's right here in north central Washington. 15 to 25 miles an hour tonight with gusts around 35. Those should die down after midnight or so, but we're going to see plenty of wind, as I just mentioned, for Thursday too. Out of the west, 10 to 20 miles, gusting to 30, but most of the very strong wind will move back into the Rocky Mountains into Montana, and we will see partly cloudy skies by afternoon with most of the cloudiness off to our southeast. For Friday, as we end our work week, partly cloudy skies, still a little bit breezy. West winds 10 to 15 miles an hour for Friday. Good news is there's our ridge of high pressure, and it'll sneak all the way up into British Columbia as we get into the upcoming weekend. And I'll tell you, that's going to make for a nice Saturday. Partly cloudy, light wind. We will see warmer temperatures with highs Saturday in the lower to mid 70s. For Sunday, about the same, except mostly cloudy skies on Sunday. An isolated shower not out of the question. Temperatures very nice, upper 70s around the Tri-Cities, and you can see that area of low pressure will spawn a wave or two of some moisture, which I think mainly will stay in western Washington. For your Memorial Day on Monday, hopefully you have it off and you have a chance to get out and enjoy it. Partly cloudy skies and warmer temperatures. Once again, we're looking at temps mainly between 70 and 80 degrees in central and eastern Washington. And for Tuesday, yeah, we like it. More of the same. Sunny and warm. You can see our isobars are tightly packed on Tuesday, so even though we'll see some sun, we could see some windy conditions by Tuesday. And I'm telling you, folks, past next Tuesday into the weekend, we might be talking temperatures between 80 and 85 degrees. Let's take a look now at your Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling 7-day forecast. Tonight, 49 degrees, so not quite as mild as we've seen the last couple of nights. Still breezy for Thursday, cooler at 65. We're going to stay about 65 for Friday too. Just breezy conditions then as we end our work week. And for the weekend, our long Memorial Day weekend, Saturday looks beautiful. Partly cloudy and 72. Mostly cloudy Sunday with just a slight chance for scattered rain showers. Monday, warmer, 76. And we'll stay on the warm side Tuesday with partly cloudy skies and 75 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Aging and Adult Care offers many in-home care options and services for seniors and family caregivers. But did you know they also offer free in-home delivered meals? Aging and Adult Care has expanded its program for home-delivered meals to help elderly and vulnerable adults at this challenging time. If you are in need of prepared meals or know someone who could benefit, call Aging and Adult Care for more information about free home-delivered meals. Call 509-886-0700.
I'm Tom from Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. At Alpine Air, we think of ourselves as customer service-oriented retailers. When you make an appointment, please visit our store, meet our people, see our shop. We are serious about heating and air conditioning. Carrier and Alpine Air are offering huge factory rebates and financing options for all your needs. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Call for your free replacement estimate. Heat and air, call Alpine Air, 662-6846.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper. I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCWLIFE.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Wednesday to you, staying home and staying healthy. Eric Granstrom on the NCWLIFE channel. Here's a look at sports news. Seahawks cornerback Quinton Dunbar formally pled not guilty to 4 counts of armed robbery in a Broward County Circuit Court on Monday. Dunbar is accused of helping New York Giants cornerback DeAndre Baker steal $12,000 in cash and $61,000 worth of watches at a party in Miramar, Florida last Wednesday. Michael Grieco, the attorney for Dunbar, says his client is innocent and he can prove it. He says he hopes the state will look at the evidence and 5 sworn affidavits he's collected on behalf of his client and drop the charges. In the meantime, Grieco says he requested a jury trial. A motion has been filed to allow Dunbar to travel out of Florida if need be for work with the Seahawks. Right now, the pandemic has Seattle and the rest of the NFL meeting by remote video conference. Looks like the soonest workout in Renton could come is training camp, possibly in July. Well, Seahawks former first-round pick Bruce Irvin is happy to be back in Seattle. The defensive end collected 8.5 sacks with Carolina last season. He said watching the Seahawks beat Philadelphia in the playoffs last year made him long to be in Seattle once again. So, how does he feel to be back?
In one word, I would say refreshing. Very refreshing. Knowing that I'm going to a situation that I know that they run it very professional. They take care of their players. You're gonna always work. And you're always gonna compete. And you're always gonna be competitive in every game you step in. So, for me at this stage of my career is, going to the best situation. And I felt like going back home, Seattle I consider it home, my football home at least. That was the best thing that could happen to me, especially in year 9. I couldn't ask for a better situation.
Irvin left Seattle following the 2015 season and played with the Raiders for 2.5 years before a stop in Atlanta and Carolina. He says he owes a huge debt of gratitude to General Manager John Snyder, Coach Pete Carroll, and his longtime mentor, Ken Norton Jr.
Norton's a guy I consider, not only as my coach, but as a father figure. The guy, took me to Oakland with him, and also, he played a major role in bringing me back to Seattle. And Pete and John, I always thank them for giving me my first opportunity coming out, because you guys know I had major red flags, and they stuck their nose out there for me, and they took a chance, and it came back around full circle. They gave me another opportunity, and words can't explain how much I appreciate them.
Entering free agency in the offseason, Irvin had chances to go elsewhere, but said being back with the Seahawks was his #1 objective.
Seattle was the primary place when we played them. After we played, was it week 14 or something? I was like, damn, man, I wish I was with those guys. After the Philly game, actually, I sent Bobby a text message while they was on the plane. I was like, damn, I wish I was on that plane with y'all and shit. So, I just wanted to come back, man. I've never, like I said, I can't complain about anywhere I've been, but, nothing has been like Seattle from how they travel to how we practice, how they take care of their older players, from the cafeteria, from the facility being on the lake, it's just everything, man. It's just grade A, and it's just they run it right up there, man. I'm just happy to be back.
The Seahawks are hoping Irvin's 9th season in the NFL will help produce more sacks and quarterback pressures. Seattle was next to last in that category in the NFL a season ago. Well, there's at least one Seattle Mariner who is loving not playing baseball right now. That's first baseman Daniel Vogelbach. The 27-year-old power hitter says he loves fishing as much as baseball, and now it's time to be on the water near his home in Orlando.
Where I live is, it's like the best fishing you can ask for. So I try to take full advantage of it. My best friends love to fish too, so that's pretty much all we do is get out on the water. And like in the year, this is the best time to fish, and I'm never home for it. So I've kind of been on the water as much as possible.
There's some positives in there.
Yeah.
Who do you go out with usually when you guys go, and whose boat do you take, and what do you guys usually fish for? Like, what's the prime catch out there right now?
Well, we take my boat, and it's usually my roommate my best friend that lives with me from high school, and then a couple of my boys, and my brother will go with me. And right now it's tarpon. It's a tarpon season. The snook and redfish are here all the time throughout the year. That's what we catch normally, but right now the tarpon are a lot of fun. So we've been doing that right now it's like a sunset thing. You go out like 4 o'clock, you bait, and you fish till it's dark, and you come in.
Vogelback appeared on a video podcast called Inside Corner, hosted by former Apple Sox pitcher Marco Gonzalez and Mariner announcer Aaron Goldschmidt. He had a breakout year last year, at least for the first half, making Seattle's everyday roster. He hit 34 home runs on the season, had 91 RBIs. He was the only Mariners representative at the All-Star game. Then he fell off a cliff in the second half of the season. He says he's putting last year's second half slump behind him and hoping for good things if and when Seattle starts playing baseball once again. In the meantime, you'll find him out on the water fishing. Well, opportunities to go outside will keep growing when the Forest Service opens the vast majority of its trailheads and day-use facilities just in time for the Memorial Day weekend this weekend. The agency announced plans for a phased reopening in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest to follow the example of its partners in Washington State. Some areas and trailheads still covered in snow will open later, and amenities such as restrooms, garbage service, and water facilities will be limited. All campgrounds will remain closed until Phase 2 of Governor Jay Inslee's plan. Forest Service said popular areas located within campgrounds will likely reopen sometime in June. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And finally tonight, Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue will have a new chief after June 1st. Mick Lamar, who's headed the rural department since 2012, plans to retire and turn the reins over to current Assistant Chief Dave Walker. In his time as chief, Lamar reduced emergency response times while coping with persistent wildfire threats. He also led the acquisition of property for a planned new fire district headquarters and training facility outside of Plain. And all of us at the NCW Life channel would like to thank Chief Lamar for his being courteous to us and always very available for a soundbite, and best luck to Chief Lamar. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. Thursday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we're going to visit again with Casey Lee. Casey is the founder of the Share a Meal program. She launched it a little over a month ago. It's a win-win for everybody. Area restaurants get to stay in business, and then the meals that they make are being donated to local nonprofits who are then distributing those meals. And Casey's got some good news. More businesses, more restaurants are hopping on board. We'll get the latest from Casey Lee from the Share a Meal program, plus everything you need to start your Thursday. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan, and that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
This is Caitlin Hedersheet, the producer of the NCWLIFE magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCWLIFE magazine right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
Buick and GMC are here to help, to keep you going through these unprecedented times. If you need a vehicle, we're offering 0% financing for up to 84 months. Plus, you may have the option to shop online and take delivery at home with Shop, Click, Drive. If you need service, our certified technicians are ready to help. You can even schedule your appointment online. Together, we'll get through these uncertain times. Buick and GMC, we're here to help.